Hello again. Let's move on to the next type of population interactions. Now we will be dealing with the positive interactions. Positive interactions meaning that both the parties may be benefited from the interaction, or in some cases one party is benefited and the other party may neither be harmed nor benefited. So the first type of positive interaction is mutualism. Now, like the term mutual suggests, it is an interaction where both the parties are benefiting from each other. This is the best type of interaction which even you and me should follow in life. So in this type of interaction, one party gives something to the other party in return from something that it is getting from the second party. For example, most common example here is lichens. Now, like you've studied earlier in your previous year, lichens are a very special association between algae and fungi. Algae, being aquatic in nature, require moisture constantly. Fungi belonging to kingdom Mycota need a constant source of food. Algae prepare food and provide it to the fungi, and the fungi in return for the food that they are getting provide moisture to the algae. So in turn they form an association which comprises of an algal component which is known as phycobiont and a fungal component which is known as a mycobiont. So the fungal and the algal component symbiotically live with each other, and this interaction is a mutual interaction. Another example is association of fungi with certain roots of plants called mycorrhiza. Here the fungi provide atmospheric nitrogen to the roots in return for the food that is provided by the roots to the fungus. This is known as a mycorrhizal association. Apart from this, there are certain plant-animal mutual relationships that are taking place. For example, very common interaction is for pollination. This involves co-evolution of both the species. So there are certain flowers which provide nectar to the pollinator in return for the process of pollination. So you see honeybees coming towards a particular flower to take in the nectar. When they are absorbing the nectar, when they are sucking the nectar, at that time the pollen grains are attached or they get stuck to their feet and their body. In turn, when that honeybee moves to another part of the plant or it moves to another plant, the pollen grains are pollinated to that part of the plant and the process of pollination is complete. So this is a plant-animal relationship. So this is about mutualism. The second one is commensalism. In this type of interaction, the first party is neither benefited nor harmed by the interaction of the second party. For example, orchids. Orchids are epiphytic in nature, which means that they grow on other plants. Generally, you will find orchids on angiosperm dicots like mango tree. So you will find the orchid attached to the branch of the tree with the help of some epiphytic roots. What this orchid does, it is just using the branch as support. It has its own mechanism for preparation of food. It is carrying out its own process of photosynthesis and is not relying on the mango plant for food or for survival. It is only relying on the mango plant for support. So in this way, the orchid is benefiting from the mango plant, but the mango plant is neither harmed nor benefited by the presence of the orchid. This type of interaction, wherein one party is benefited and the other party is neither harmed nor benefited, is known as commensalism. Another very common example that you must have seen in fields or in the villages is that wherever there are cattle grazing, you will find special type of birds called cattle egrets present around the cattle. So these cows and buffaloes which are grazing over there are in constant association with this specific type of cattle egret. The reason being is that when the cattle graze on the grass, certain very specific insects and organisms are surfaced on which the cattle egret will later feed. So this is a type of commensal interaction wherein the cattle egret is benefited and the cow or the buffalo are neither benefited nor harmed. The third type of example is an aquatic example which you must have commonly seen in the movie Finding Nemo. I hope most of you have seen that. It's a beautiful movie. Please do watch it. Finding Nemo is a movie about a clownfish. Now, you must have heard that clownfish live in special types of homes called sea anemones. A sea anemone is an organism which has special stinging cells present. And any other organism that comes in contact with the sea anemone is stung. Okay, it is given a shock treatment, except for the clownfish. Sea anemone only allows clownfish to enter inside it. So this is a type of commensal reaction where the clownfish are benefited from the sea anemone and the sea anemone are neither benefited nor harmed. With this, we complete the positive interactions. Now let's look at another very unique type of interaction, and the last interaction, that is amensalism. Amensalism is a very rare interaction wherein one organism is totally unaffected, but the interaction of that organism with the other party harms the other party instead. So it is the exact opposite of commensal reaction or commensal interaction. With this, we complete the module population, interaction, and in turn we complete the chapter organisms and population. Please note that in this chapter you have come across various terms like biotic and abiotic factors, adaptations. You have learnt what is the definition of population, what is population growth, and what is population interaction. So with this we complete the chapter organisms and population. Thank you.